Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ultimate Manifestation Podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Sean Robert Grant, a.k.a. Sean Robert Grant. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are fantastic. As I've been saying on all my podcasts, thank you guys so much for listening in from all across the world. Your support is greatly appreciated. Very, very thankful for it. We're going to keep continuing to bring you some eye-opening, thought-provoking, life-transformative content to really help you to live your best life and but more importantly, to think differently, to make you feel better, and then from there, operate in building your best life. But before we get into that, as always, we do a little business first. Guys, if you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, any correspondence, please, shaung04@gmail.com. We will get back to you right to that. Please, if you would, we will get back to you as soon as we can, and we'll go from there, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today's wonderful message is diving into the power of your subconscious mind, a.k.a. infinite intelligence, a.k.a. God in me, a.k.a. infinite goddess, a.k.a. all that is, a.k.a. universal mind. So many different terminologies and nomenclatures this concept has, but I personally love subconscious mind. And, since I've been away, I've dove into it, and I've had some revelations and some deeper understandings about how it works. And I really want to share that with you today because I feel like you really have to look deeply to discover some of the truths behind the power of your subconscious mind. Now, of course, if we're familiar with the metaphysical genre, we know Joseph Murphy wrote the bestseller, the timeless bestseller, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And it's a terrific book. But I think to find anything else other than that on it, you really have to dive deeper. I know Maxwell Maltz dove into it a bit with psycho-cybernetics, and there's been a lot of books, and Neville Goddard does as well. He calls it the imagination, which I find interesting as well. But today we're just going to kind of simplify that for you to allow you to understand how you can use your own subconscious mind to help you. So I think one of the most pivotal changes for me of late was understanding that the subconscious mind controls 100% of our life. Now, there's been this whole concept of the subconscious mind controlling 95% and the conscious mind controlling 5%. I agreed with that for some time, but then I realized something and I began to disagree about it. And the reason I disagreed is because, and I'll tell you this concept, whatever is accepted is projected. Okay. Whatever is accepted in consciousness is projected into reality. Okay. That is the basis of manifestation. Okay. So if you plant an idea, or if you had an idea planted within yourself, that idea has to be projected onto the script of life, which is the material physical reality. It can't be anything else. Everything we encounter is happening past tense because it's been accepted into the subconscious mind, right? So let's say you're just going about and all of a sudden you find a $100 bill on the ground. So what is that telling you? That tells you that on some level, subconsciously, you've accepted the idea of more money coming into your life. Now, it doesn't even have to be 100. It can be 1,000. It can be $10. It can be a penny. It can be anything. But you've had to accept that truth within yourself in order, not necessarily truth, but that belief within yourself in order for it to show up in your life, in your physical reality, material life. Okay. That is a concept that when you finally and you really understand it, and I mean understand it on a soul level, on a deeper level, you begin to see why your life looks like the way that it does. And this can be one of the most terrifying, right? Or one of the most powerful, most inspiring, empowering days of your life if you decide to take full responsibility. Because I'm going to tell you, the number one thing you're going to do, and this is what I did, I started diving in to say, hold on, there is no way I would have created something like that. What type of belief am I carrying within myself that's causing this to unfold, that's causing this to happen, that's causing this to be what it is? What in me is what have I accepted that's projecting this type of experience? And the best thing you can do is journal, right? And in journaling journaling basically takes what's in our consciousness and then puts it out onto paper. So you can really discover the stuff, the shadow side to stuff that's been hidden. And it'll oftentimes surprise you when you think of what you've been holding. Now, a lot of times the stuff that is contradictory to what we believe about ourselves, our self-image, is the stuff that's been planted into us during childhood, right? And we've all been there where we just kind of say, how in the world did that happen? Like, I would not purposely do this to myself, so why is this unfolding? But in the reality behind it is this. You've allowed an idea to be accepted within your subconscious, and then it created a result. It created a manifested experience, and that's how it came about. Now, one of the greatest things we can do is just not take this stuff personally. Because when we take it personally, what we begin to do is compound the experience, especially if it is a really hard experience to deal with, right? So I can remember just a few weeks ago, I had went through this space where my frequency and my vibration just dropped. And so there's this thing we call problem frequency or problem vibration, where it just seems like your life is falling apart. And it was just one problem right after the other unfolding. And I just could not believe that it was happening up until the point where I basically broke the main water line at my home. That made me stop and say, oh gosh, oh no, I got to really see what it is that I've been putting into my unconscious mind, my subconscious mind. And then once I did, I was able to get to the bottom line as to why things were happening the way that they were. And, we have to do this all the time. Don't wait until, you have an accident or you break something or something unfortunate happens. Dive into it now and begin to see, begin to see on the deepest level, what ideas am I implanting? What ideas am I implanting within myself? Okay, because once you find out, then you can really understand why your life is the way that it is. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing once you discover that truth. So the second thing I'd like to touch on, the second powerful aspect of the subconscious mind, is that it accepts the strongest idea of two ideas. So basically what this means is, you can have a propensity to think that life is full of loving people, or you can go the complete opposite and think that the world is full of unloving people. So what the subconscious does is takes the belief that is the strongest and creates that into your reality. Isn't that powerful? So it will take those two concepts. And, this is big, especially when it comes to money, right? Because I gave you an example of loving people and unloving people, right? As Einstein would say, universe or friendly universe or unfriendly universe, whatever one you believe to be true more is what is going to find itself showing itself to you in the material world. And once again, you can't take it personal. Right? Because if we take it personal, then we get caught up in a sense of thinking, oh my God, what are we going to do? Why is this like this? Why is this way? I don't know what's happening, blah, 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 whatever. No, we just say, okay, this happened. So it tells me that I have something within my consciousness that's creating this. I need to do something about it, right? So, boom, what do? We go to meditation, we go to journaling, we go within, and we ask ourselves, what caused this to happen? What is the root cause of this manifestation? Because every manifestation always has, according to the law of mentalism, it always has a mental equivalent, right? Charles Fillmore also coined that in his book titled Mental Equivalent. So we always know that some type of thought, some type of belief had to occur or had to unfold and be accepted within us in order for something to manifest itself out into the material world. So when I get that, when I understand that, and let's say I'm dealing with lack in abundance, right? So I take, once again, my own experience. I grew up in a space where lack from a conscious standpoint was more widely accepted than abundance. And the reason being is because so many people were living in lack and they had been taught to live in lack. And so when you're taught to live in lack, that's all you really begin to expect is lack. So I saw that and I realized that I was experiencing lack in a lot of the instances that I was in my life, that I had, unfolding in my life. So what I did? I changed it. I began to inundate and plant seeds of abundance within myself because I wanted abundance to be stronger than the concept of lack. Now it is so far separate, right? The concept of abundance is so much stronger in my life than the concept of lack that I don't even give it a second thought, right? Same with success and same with failure. The concept of success is so much stronger, right, than the concept of failure that even when it looks like I do fail, it's actually a success because it's helping me to come back and return better and be better about myself and who I am and what I can bring to the table. You see how that works? So once we know this, we can then start leaning towards accepting the ideas that we want to see manifested in our lives, right? Because we know it's going to take the strongest concept. And it is 100% guaranteed that once your subconscious mind has this concept, guess what's going to happen? It's coming out into manifestation. There is no other way. This is how the universal mind is set up. It's going to happen. And that's a beautiful thing. That can be the most empowering thing because okay, you may get to a space where it's like, I'm a bit nervous about my finances, but then you think to yourself, okay, what seeds have I planted within my mind, my subconscious mind, as it relates to money and to finance and all these things. And you realize, I've planted financial abundance, financial prosperity, financial independence, financial freedom, financial increase. I've planted all these seeds and my subconscious mind has accepted them. So all of a sudden, you know what I do? I calm myself down, right? And I say, yeah, this may look this way, but I know what I've planted within myself, within my subconscious mind. And I know that is what's going to eventually manifest in my life. Okay? So understand that. It's operating 100%. When you plant the seed, there is no need. Okay? I sound like Johnny Cochran. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. No, if you plant the seed, there will be no need. Okay? If you plant the seed, there will be no need. Right? And that is a surefire method when it comes to the subconscious mind. Okay? So we're moving on here. Another thing to understand is that the subconscious mind can become the superconscious mind when we add a sense of urgency to it. Okay, and this is one of my favorites because I'll give you an example I was talking about today. You ever wonder how when you see these instances where there's a child playing and all of a sudden the child gets stuck, his foot gets stuck under the car, or the car goes into somehow neutral and starts rolling back on the child, and the mom all of a sudden accesses the superhuman strength to move the car out of the way to help the child? Well, guess what? That's because the adrenaline allowed the woman or the man or whoever it is to access that superhuman strength and power within the subconscious mind. It just literally manifested, transcending time and space like that. So we think to ourselves, what causes that, right? What would be the cause of that? Adrenaline, right? But here's the thing. We don't want to consistently bring about the idea of having adrenaline all the time. So what do we need? What does adrenaline cause? Adrenaline causes urgency, okay? Adrenaline causes urgency. So if we act with urgency within our subconscious, what's going to happen? It's going to give us the answers a lot quicker. You see, a lot of times, most of us are living like we have all the time in the world. And I get it. You know, you could be in your 20s or 30s, but I'm going to tell you, it felt like yesterday I was in my 20s and I'm already 40 something. And I've loved every bit of it, but it's gone so quickly and the years go by seemingly so fast, especially when you dive into your passion and your purpose and your truth. With that being said, you want to be able to just call forth and dive into life with urgency. Your subconscious mind can help you, right? And it just is simple. It's as simple as this. If I was going to be a success by next month, what would my subconscious mind lead me to do? And boom, you're going to start getting ideas. You might get them right away. You never know, right? It just depends on how much resistance we have. But you may get an idea right away, and then you got to act on it, right? And once you act on it, then you'll get more, right? If you said, if I were to be a millionaire by December of 2024, what would my subconscious mind lead me to do, right? Ask with urgency. And what's going to happen is the subconscious mind will react with urgency. And this way you can do this without feeling like you need to just poison yourself with cortisol by trying to call forth adrenaline and then eventually becoming an adrenaline junkie and all this stuff. No, you just ask with urgency, right? If I wanted to be the richest that I ever been, what would my subconscious mind have me do right now? If I wanted to be in the best relationship of my life, what would my subconscious mind have me do right now? And just be patient and wait for the answer, because it'll surprise the heavens out of you when it comes. But because you've placed that demand, because you've placed that urgency upon it, guess what happens? It answers the call, right? Because it's not moving based on time and space. It's not moving based on anything other than the concept of universal mind, substance, and energy all around in every point in time. You know, the whole omnipotence and omnipresence of God, that's what it's moving off of. That needs no time, right? That transcends time and space. So it's important to know that that urgency is there, right? I mean, that ability to access this stuff is there. You just got to put the urgency on the subconscious mind, and it reacts every single time. And if it doesn't come quickly, I can guarantee you the moment you focus on something else, that idea will probably drop into your mind. It always does. That's how it works. It'll wait for you to direct your attention to somewhere else, and then it will give you the idea that you've been looking for. I can promise you this is how it unfolds. Okay? So the last thing we'll do here, the last concept as far as, because there's so many of these we can go into, but for the sake of time, I'm going to give you the fourth one here in just a bit, and just really take your time understanding and really diving into the ones that I've given you, because there's so many different ways that you can access it. And there's so many different ways you can move it into action to help you. And the last one is just, it's, I don't want to say it's a no-brainer, because that's a stupid kind of thing to say, a no-brainer. It is a brainer. You do have to use your brain in order to use it, but the idea of repetition. And you may know this one more so than anything else. You know, repetition allows you to be able to turn something into a habit. Well, the reality is, right, repetition coupled with the idea of song, right, can influence the subconscious mind in an even greater capacity, right? Now, I'm not saying you got to be a world-class Grammy award-winning singer, but if you ever have to remember something, you ever have to memorize something, right? Or you ever want to lead something into your subconscious, right? Sing a song. And I'm going to give you an example. Money come, money flow, money show up at my front door, right? I came up with that, and I would be singing it all day long when I was attempting to manifest money, right? And I did this with so many different aspects, not just money, but I did it with my health and my fitness. I did it with my career, and I would sing these songs, and they would get literally like a magnet, just get completely caught in my subconscious, and I would say it, and then all of a sudden these things would start to manifest. Why? Because the song was catchy. Because the song, you ever notice when you're listening to the radio, if you still listen to the radio, and there's a song that plays, and before you know it, you're singing the song because your subconscious mind has just kind of taken an attraction to it, has been magnetized to it. That's the same type of concept. That's why radio is so powerful, right? Repetition, and then exponentially expanding that repetition by turning it into a song. I can promise you, your subconscious mind, right, will remember it. Writing your goals in the form of nursery rhymes to where the alliteration just works, that's another thing that's going to really help. But I promise you, try singing your goals. And like I said, you don't have to be professional, but sing it in a catchy way, sing it in a catchy tune, and it's going to sink itself into the deeper mind to the point where it gets accepted. And we know if it's accepted, it will be projected. But try that out, okay? Not just repetition, but also song. All right? Guys, that's all the time that I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me. It is always a pleasure. If you have any questions, once again, write to us at shaung04@gmail.com. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Wherever you are, enjoy your night, enjoy your morning, enjoy your afternoon, and we will talk to you real soon here. Thanks again for everything. It's been a pleasure. As always, Reverend Sean Robert Grant signing off. We'll see you soon. Take care.